So I was creating a conversation today with a woman who we were looking at how she was holding back from showing up in a certain powerful way in the context of her business. And the way of showing up was familiar to her because she's shown up that way in the past, but she was finding it difficult to access that. And when we looked at it, what we saw was that her fear of just showing up that way, like just deciding and choosing to be that way, was that, well, what if I couldn't stay that way? Or what if I was that way for an hour or for a few hours, but then later that day or the next day I wasn't? And so the fear beneath that, or the idea beneath that fear, is that if I'm going to be something, then I need to be it all the time, or else my being of it was a lie. So let me say that again. The idea beneath the fear that I can't continue to be that if I be it for this meeting or this appointment, and I can't continue that, beneath that fear is the idea that if I be something and I'm not continuing to be it, or I'm not being it all the time, then the times where I were being it or was being it was a lie. What if that wasn't true? And so what jumped into my mind, because she's an athlete as well, is cardio, right? If we don't work out for a while, we lose our capacity to convert oxygen into, I don't know, we lose our cardio. Let's just not make it technical. We lose our wind, right? And to get it back, you have to start working on it again and doing it. But what's the best way to increase your cardio endurance? It's high intensity interval training. And for those who don't know what interval training is you do an exercise like a sprint for say 20 seconds, and then you stop or you walk for 10 seconds, and then you sprint for 20, walk for 10. That's called a Tabata. And actually the quickest and most powerful way to increase your capacity with your cardio is to not just do a long distance run. To increase your capacity for that run is to actually do intervals. Super fast and then slow, super fast and slow. You stretch your lungs and you come back to something easy. And so in that same way, I was suggesting that what if showing up powerfully in the world was something that you did in intervals? And what if instead of having to be some way all the time, what if the way you grew into something more was to do it at full intensity and then to relax back into the other ways that you usually are, or normally are? And so then the idea of just showing up for an hour as a powerful person in the context of your business or your relationship, whatever it is not a lie a lie in contrast to the other 23 hours where you're not showing up powerfully. It's actually just an interval. It's a sprint, with the understanding that the combination of the sprint, the showing up in my most powerful self, and the rest periods where I'm showing up as I normally have been habitually, unconsciously, like those two things together dancing is what creates the growth. And so then all of a sudden, the times where you're not your most powerful self become a kind of purposeful. They're the thing to push off of to create the growth and the strength in the other way. So another technique we could bring from fitness, similar to interval training, as a way of growing ourselves and our state of being, is called greasing the groove. So it's a Russian technique to increasing pull-up strength. I've got my pull-up bar here that I love. And so if I can do a maximum of, say, 20 pull-ups, right, then the greasing the groove approach would be to do just 10 pull-ups, but to do that multiple times throughout the day. And so if my capacity is 20 and I do half that multiple times throughout the day, what happens over a period of time is that I get stronger and stronger and stronger, and I'm able to do more pull-ups, but I'm able to do more pull-ups without ever having gotten sore. Without ever getting sore, because I never stretched myself to the level that really tires me out and burns me out. But I've done half that. And so what if a way of increasing our capacity to be something in the world, to have a certain level of confidence, to have a certain level of a willingness to ask for something, what if we just did half of it, but frequently? So with greasing the groove, it's do half the number of reps from 4 to 6 times a day, every single day. You never get sore, but you actually grow. So 2 approaches that you can try. Allow yourself for it to be okay to go all in with being something, even if it looks very different than what you normally are. It's not a lie, it's an interval. It grows you. And the other thing that you could do is to do the full version of it, just do half. Do half the full version. but do it frequently and do it every day. Today is the perfect day for you to create who you are. You are loved and you are powerful, and I am loving you simply for your being here. I'll talk to you soon.